Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I know it's been a long time, but I'm back. So, today I definitely want to talk about this last episode of The Walking Dead. So, I'm talking about season 9, episode 5. First thing that blew me about this episode was AMC. Last two episodes of Rick Grimes, last two episodes. Don't nobody really want to hear that. I know I didn't want to hear that, even though I'm going to talk about it, but nobody wants to be reminded that Rick Grimes is going to die. But I think they did that because people were upset when Glenn passed away. I mean, if you would have went on Twitter and saw all the hate comments that AMC got, so I guess they said, let's not rip the band-aid off. Still feel ripped. So, you already know, I got some talking points just so I can stay on track, because that mouth can go. So, let's get started. Now, the first thing that I really liked about this episode was the scene between Daryl and Rick. Daryl kept wanting to fight back and forth with Rick, and Rick let him know, like, I'm your brother. And if we all remember Daryl's original brother, he was not. Okay? So, Rick wanted him to know, like, we're going to argue because I am really your brother, but let something happen and I have your back. So I thought that was so cute because I think Daryl really needed to know that Rick loved him and that Rick has his back. Now, next thing that came out to me was, first off, where did all these horses come from? We are on season 9 and now we have horses. Where have they been? And why are they so disloyal? This is the second time this season that a horse has got out of line. First, the little boy ended up getting kicked in the chest and ate up by walkers because trying to help this horse not get ate up. And now Rick Horse gets all scared. I understand. Flips him off his back and impales Rick on some nails. Disloyalty. Where the dogs at? A dog would have never done that. Never. I don't get it. I really don't get it. These horses are no. Now another thing. Why was the horse moving so slow while Rick was on his back? Any other time, they are flipping, screaming, whining about being around walkers. Now you have 1,000, 2,000 walkers walking behind you and you're slow trotting. Like, I don't get that. That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, you would think that the horse would feel its danger as well as Rick's, but hey, I don't know. That's something that kind of blew me. Third point that I really liked was the inclusion of some of the past characters that died. Like, as Rick was going through this part of not really being there mentally because he was losing so much blood, some of the past characters like Herschel and Sasha came back and let him know, like, your family is still here and you have to wake up. And so I like that. Like, they were like his guiding force, pushing him to live on because they have passed. I thought that was cute, bringing back the good characters, that we all love. So, another thing, Michonne. Now, that heart to heart that they had when Michonne was saying, do you realize why I fell in love with you? And do you realize that, we don't die? I thought that was so beautiful because Michonne and Rick being together was the cutest couple because nobody expected them to get together. Like, interracial love was just touched me so much. But then to find out that that conversation never really happened broke my heart because it was just like he needed to know that, she needed to say that, and she needed to know that he viewed her as his family. But the conversation that Michonne had with Maggie, right before Michonne allowed Maggie to go into the jail to see Negan, Maggie said, I never got a chance to ask him how he would feel because he died. Talking about her husband because Negan killed him before she was even able to say goodbye, I love you, or any of that. And so for Michonne's part, she didn't understand that because her husband or her boo was still living. And so I just felt like they, the directors could have gave Michonne the opportunity to tell Rick, like, I love you, you know, like, you make a difference in my life. You must live on. But I think that part with Maggie and Michonne was a little bit of foreshadowing to what was going to happen that we just didn't realize. Because we knew that Rick was going to pass away thanks to AMC, but we just didn't know like in what manner. So I think we were all preparing for him to like get bit or him to get shot or something like that. But when Michonne had the conversation with Maggie, I didn't realize the foreshadowing until the very end. So I thought that was so cute. It angered me to find out like that was just a dream that he was having, or like a delusion that he was having at that moment as he was fighting to live. But it still was very heart wrenching, you know. Almost got a tear out. Didn't though, but almost. So another thing, where is Daryl getting all these arrows from? Like they're struggling to make bullets, they're struggling to make gas. So you don't ever see nobody in there making his arrows, and he never go around scooping them all up when he's shooting people in the head. So, who's making these arrows? Because he definitely wastes them all the time. Never thought about that, did you? Now, the part that broke me all the way was the inevitable part that we've all been waiting on. How were the producers going to take Rick Grimes out? Now, I assumed he was going to just become a walker or kill himself like Carl did. Carl refused to become a walker, so he killed himself. So I thought, okay, like son, like father, maybe they're going to replicate that because there's no way in the world that they're going to let somebody kill Rick. Guess they let him kill himself because I was not expecting a suicide. Now, Rick had finally made it all the way to his family. As he continued to say in his delusions, I have to find my family, I have to find my family, I have to find my family. He finally makes it to his family, and it's a delusion. I'm thinking, oh my God, the Calvary is here, he has been saved. No, it's another delusion. But he wakes up, and a walker is very near, and he gets shot in the head. And who's there? His brother. So as his brother's trying to save him, he notices on the bridge that they were making some, not fireworks, some TNT blocks. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's going to shoot the blocks and that's going to blow up the bridge. Because he was hoping that the bridge would break because everyone kept saying, oh, the bridge is going to break, the bridge is going to break. Guess they made a sturdy bridge and just didn't realize it. So he was waiting on the bridge to break and the bridge never broke. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's going to shoot the dynamite blocks and then going to blow up the bridge. But then he starts walking on the bridge. So I'm like, okay, that's not what we had planned for you. You're not supposed to be doing that. So he ends up shooting the dynamite blocks while he's on it. And Michonne is running and running and trying to catch him before she does it, running, and he blows himself up. Blows up the bridge, and yes, the bridge now is demolished and they have all the walkers going into the little river. So yes, he did achieve something. But now Michonne is totally broken. I mean, she is screaming, she's trying to run towards him, and you have Maggie trying to hold her back, because she has to leave. She has to live. So now we have to figure out who is not going to lead this group. But one thing I just realized is that Rick kind of was selfish. Even though I know that producers had to kill him off because he has his own real life situations that he has to deal with. But Rick Grimes and the real life character, sorry. You can't have your own stuff because Rick has to live for us. And I just realized Rick killed himself. What about your daughter? So now she's lost her brother and her father. Didn't think about that, did you? Because Andrew Lincoln, who is the actual actor who plays Rick Grimes, wants to live his life in the UK. No, when you become a character, you are that character. You don't get to live your own life. No. So now we have to live without Rick Grimes. And his daughter has to live without him. So, as you can tell, this show is really like a huge part of me, to the point that sometimes I just go off on tangents. But I've been a Walking Dead fan since the very beginning, so I definitely feel invested by these characters. But thanks for watching my video. Thanks for listening to my rants. And just remember, we're living unapologetically black, you know? So stay tuned. I definitely have more videos coming up. And I want you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I mean, why not? Bye.